Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Gordon Maston, and welcome to another edition of my Monday Night Raw review for July 18th, 2016. Now, tonight on Raw, it was a interesting go home from one perspective of mine. I mean, you really think about it, this is what happened tonight. There was a lot on my end. I was expecting, like, oh, it's a draft. Oh, they'll bring out the new general managers. Set the date up on a banger. All the other feuds to be progressed in ways that make one person or another shine, or in certain cases, one group or another shine, which to a degree was done. To a degree, to me, could have been done different and or better. I'll explain that and more once we get in Raw. But you know what? We're sitting here looking at the music, and I meant to go like this, which was what we're going to be looking at, and that's Twitter. So I was active during Twitter tonight. Some of the stuff I was getting likes on, others not much really. But these are just some of the opinions I had that you guys will, see during the show. There's a gif of something that happened on SmackDown a while ago that Jericho and Owens were doing. That's what gave them the reasons they need those two to stick together for a tag match that happened later tonight. Daniel Bryan did the dab tonight. A lot of crazy stuff happened, but you want to follow along with me on Twitter during Raw. You guys already know what to do. Tweet me. Fight Master and Fight. I'll probably change this pretty soon because I can't fit the last team there, so it practically defeats the purpose. So we're gonna do away with that. But you know what? I think it's about time we get into Monday Night Raw because tonight's show actually wasn't bad, but I could have just done without the bunches and bunches and bunches of tag matches. That I could have done without. But you know what? I'll tell you why when we get into this and more in the Raw review. So let's do this. Alright. So tonight's show started out with Stephanie McMahon and Shane McMahon bringing out their new general managers for Raw and SmackDown as they are the commissioners. This basically gives Vince an excuse to not be on TV and to not have to throw himself out there every week, as we already basically know. Excuse me. From here, when it comes to Steph and Shane, they basically, they tell us that, they're going to announce their new general managers. And first, I'm thinking this is an entire trolling job the entire time that Stephanie's doing this. But Mick Foley is the general manager of Monday Night Raw. And if this stops this man from complaining about the product on Facebook, from saying this and that should be better, that and this should be better, fine, cool, whatever, Mick, just shut up on Facebook, dude. From what I imagine, you're gonna get to be in the boardroom, and you've wanted this for a while. So if things can't get better, you have no one else to blame it yourself. So fine, just no more Facebook ranting. Just no more Facebook ranting, Mick, please. Okay. Shane McMahon announces his GM, which WWE accidentally spoiled in a article that they had on the app. I don't know if it was directly on .com as well, but it was definitely on the app last week, and it was what's his face? It was Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan is a new GM, and it was accidentally spoiled in the app in an article last week. Like I said, don't know if it was directly spoiled on .com either, but it was spoiled on the app. And I mean, honestly, I have no problem with Daniel Bryan. I'm glad he's the general manager of SmackDown. But another thing that just threw me for an entire loop was just Raw is going to be getting a cruiserweight division. Yeah, right. No, and don't get me wrong, because they were talking about the success of the Cruiserweight Classic and everything, and I get that. I'm cool with that. That's fine. That's awesome. And then for JBL to go ahead and mention the likes of Kota Ibushi and Cedric Alexander, that was awesome. That was incredible, honestly. And never mind. That's just a little personal petty thing of mine. I was going to say, I prefer ACH rather than Cedric in this, but fine. If they want to throw Cedric in there, I'm fine with that because Cedric's awesome too. I just prefer ACH. There's a little more character from me to ACH than there is Cedric. So, yeah, there's that. So, okay. So, they basically go back and forth arguing. This is about a 20-minute promo. That was really, like, all that was noteworthy from it. I honestly thought SmackDown should have got the Cruiserweights. Because, depending on your age, when WWE got the Cruiserweights, you'll remember when SmackDown had the Cruiserweight Championship. And for me, when SmackDown had the Cruiserweight Championship was a golden age, personally. Because, you had SmackDown's great tag team division, you had the fun Cruiserweight division, and then you had the World Championship picture, which was, which had a lot of legitimate contenders, such as Lesnar, Angle, Benoit, Undertaker, Cena, all those guys back then. But now we're just sitting here with, I'm not crapping on anything from now because, I hate when people do that. Like, they can't live in the now. They have to compare everything to the then, as if, no one will compare to the guys that they used to. Like, come on. Like, I even have friends that do that to a degree. I have friends that even do that to a degree. Matt even does that to a degree. I mean, yes, I'm sorry to throw you under the bus, buddy, but this is what you do. So anyway, we move forward here, and we get to the first match of the evening, which is Sami Zayn and Cesaro versus Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. And I'm pretty sure we've seen this match about 1,000 times, and WWE just does not think so, which is just an absolute crying shame to me. Well, not crying shame, but given the guys who are in the ring, you'd figure, oh, it's not really a problem, but, come on, guys. I understand you have Owens and Zayn this Sunday, and then you have Cesaro not really doing much, and then Jericho doing the highlight reels around Europe, when I'm pretty sure it's going to be Drink It In, man, and then RKO, and then Brock Lesnar, I'm making a statement to you, yada yada. And that's pretty much going to be that. But in this match, it had 2 commercial breaks, and that's what really made me upset. But after the second commercial break, it really got amped in third gear, and, from there, I mean, it was basically a barn burner. I hate WWE's pacing of taking commercials. It's oh, the match is slow. It's picking up. Oh, this is a great commercial break. And we're back. Rest spot. Oh, it's just the heels dominating. Oh, it's picking up. Commercial break. And then, once again, after the second commercial, it picked up. No commercial. We got our finish. Sami Zayn gets the win on Jericho. 1, 2, 3. I always call it, if you're gonna do tag team matches on a go-home show, to me it's qualified as lazy booking. Sometimes it can be qualified as lazy too, and it's just let's throw this many feuds together so we can basically give these guys something to do tonight because we can't think of anything and we didn't have anything for them tonight. No. Okay, up next we get a segment with Stephanie and Bryan where they basically go back and forth and, deal a bunch of verbal shots. Daniel Bryan basically gets the win, D-Bry for the win, and that's pretty much that. And, yeah. Okay. Okay, so basically up next we had Miz versus Del Rio. Not Miz versus Del Rio. Darren Young versus Del Rio. And for the second straight week, Darren Young gets the absolute biggest fluke type of win that he could possibly get because Darren Young, was distracted by Miz at first, but then the referee got distracted, which led to Del Rio not knowing what was going on, and Darren Young getting a roll up and getting the win. So personally, it feels like they want to take this Darren Young thing quite serious because honestly, if you look at it, Alberto Del Rio, no matter how anybody feels about him, you, me included, come on, guys. Del Rio has an incredible resume. Not incredible. Yeah, incredible, because he's won the only 40-man Royal Rumble. He's been a world champion, I think, about 4 times. He's been a U.S. champion. And I don't think he's been a tag team champion or intercontinental champion. I'm pretty sure at some point WWE will probably give him that. Okay. So honestly, I'm still not high on the whole Darren Young thing, and that's just me personally. Okay. So up next, we had something I took up, and I can put my phone down for this one. Something I took up about yeah, something I took up about a good 45 minutes of the show. Let's unpack it and compact it. Uh, we got Enzo and Cass coming out. No, Cena coming out, which led to Enzo and Cass coming out, which led to the Roppongi Club coming out, and this is basically just the roast of the Roppongi Club. And then, like, the Roppongi Club came back and roasted Cena and Enzo and Cass back. And Cena acted like he didn't know what the whole Enzo Amore thing was about. He's like, wait, I'm confused. And then Enzo's like, I basically throw stuff out there. That's my thing. Like, we're making Cena seem like an old man now. Like, this is the kind of thing that he, like, not exactly what Enzo and Cass or the New Day would quite do, but he did something around this, like, where he would joke around and just like dance around and do all this kind of goofy, weird stuff. But he's acting like he doesn't know the new form of this, which is Enzo and Cass, or which is Enzo and Cass, or it is the New Day. Speaking of which, after the New Day and the club sit there and roast each other, and Carl Anderson gets on about his hot Asian wife once more, which honestly I will never get sick of. We get to New Day coming out saying, you know what? They basically make a masturbation joke. They make beating, and then I think they said jerking or something like that. I don't know. But after that, we get the Wyatt family jump scare, and then we go to commercial. So, so far, this is basically about a good 20 minutes maybe, and then we get the 12-man tag, which is Cena, Enzo and Cass, and the New Day versus Roppongi Club and Wyatt family. And honestly, this was better than I expected. Although the only problem I had is what I said last week. Guys, why didn't Roppongi Club get the frickin' win last week? Why are we waiting until now to give them the win? Which is what I was trying to get through last week. Why are we giving them the win now? Why didn't we just do it last week? I don't see the purpose behind this. It's beyond me. I don't get it. I just don't understand. Enzo Amore gets pinned after he gets the Styles Clash hit on him. Xavier Woods looked pretty good in this match. They had this one moment where the presence of Braun Strowman didn't look completely corny, like it didn't look completely forced. Like when Braun Strowman stepped in, he just looked something to be reckoned with. Because like there was this moment where Enzo got tackled down and Cass came in, and Cass and Strowman went back and forth, and at it, and Strowman and Cass just cleared the ring eventually, and it was Strowman and Cass standing there, and then they went at it. Strowman, lost the battle, but honestly, I think if they took the shirt. And it might just be like a personal thing, because I know, like, for Kevin Owens, he said in Ring of Honor he'll never take his shirt off and all that, because, people are going to make fat jokes. He's not in the best of shape, which I'm not going to make fun of, because that's just wrong. But he would go on to say, like, oh, he wouldn't take his shirt off. But if Braun Strowman doesn't have any personal issues with his chest or his stomach or anything, I totally think you take the shirt off of Braun Strowman. And I don't even think he does, because for the compound match, he had a shirt off, and he looked like a complete monster. Like, you let Braun Strowman show some chest, it will be absolutely amazing. Just like amazing. So, with that being said, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna move on to, well, because I already mentioned that Enzo and Cass and Cena lost, and the New Day and Wyatts went out fighting each other. So there's that. Foley and Shane backstage had a segment, and it was basically about why would Foley side with Stephanie? Does he know what he's getting into? And Foley says he basically thinks Stephanie can push him to make Raw a better show, and it's nothing personal against Shane. He just figures this is a great opportunity for him to take, and he knows what he's getting himself into. Honestly, I don't know if I see Mick really turning, but I probably see Mick saying he's had enough of Stephanie, and then this brings Triple H into the fold. Because I don't see Triple H, after losing to Roman Reigns, just staying off TV for much longer. I don't see him staying off TV for the rest of the year, really. I just don't. And if he does, he'll probably be back at Rumble to win again. So up next, we have Baron Corbin versus Sin Cara. And earlier in the day, we had a Facebook exclusive thing on WWE's Facebook page where the Lucha Dragons basically said they're parting ways. And they're parting ways because they want to, go as single stars in the WWE draft. And I honestly think it's best if both of them get drafted to SmackDown. Not SmackDown, Raw. Because while SmackDown offers the opportunity of being more of a wrestling show, Raw offers the opportunity of the cruiserweights. And the cruiserweights are, what we really want and what we really need. So I'm off with the cruiserweights. I'm definitely off with the cruiserweights. But I honestly think Kalisto and Sin Cara should stay on Raw as cruiserweights because, they're not bad at all. They're really get out there as, cruiserweights. But Baron Corbin basically goes on to win this match in about 3 minutes, not even probably, with the end of days. Sin Cara put up a good fight, and it was alright for what it was. There's not really much I can say because the match was so short, but I personally like Sin Cara. A lot of other people just are he botches a lot, but people don't realize the Sin Cara guy who runs the suit, who runs the mask, has switched. He's not who he was. It's not Mystico anymore. It's Hunico, and people just aren't getting that or aren't clicking with that or really don't care, and it's just the same. It's a shame to me. Or maybe they see his age and it's he's 39, 40. How much longer can he fly like this? Guys like Drago and Lucha Underground are 43 or some crap like that, or 41, 42, and they're flying around all the time. So I have no worries about Hunico as long as he keeps himself in perfectly fine condition. It'll be perfectly fine. But I just hope that Sin Cara does not go back to that horrible, god-awful music. To that and the wrestling with the lights and everything, or else it just becomes the most annoying thing ever to me. About Kalisto himself is the Lucha Dragon and just goes on to be fine and win the Cruiserweight Championship by himself. Well, obviously by himself. But after this match, Corbin continues to attack Sin Cara, and then you get Kalisto running down the ring. Corbin slides out, acts like he's, in a tactical retreat from him, and then pulls off being the smart heel, running in the ring and attacking Kalisto and laying him and Sin Cara out, basically. So, nice for Corbin. Okay. So, like I said, I had no problem with that. That was actually pretty good for what it was. I'm glad Corbin got TV time. So next up we get Charlotte and Dana Brooke versus Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. And I honestly called this happening with all the tag team matches. I was sitting there watching my friend and I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, we're going to get... And I was one person off. We're going to get Charlotte and Natalya versus Becky and Sasha, which they didn't do. They did instead just Charlotte and Dana versus Becky and Sasha. And Natalya just came out and ruined the match. And it's just... Yeah. Natalya ruined it. Match lasted about 3 minutes. It's kind of disappointing to see that this is where we're at still. But, both the matches, I'm pretty sure Sunday will get decent timing. So, yeah, that's where we stand. Dean Ambrose versus... I'm sorry. Okay, so up next... I'm going to basically go over these in one total, in one, in one, basically. So we get a Seth Rollins promo, which is, awesome, because it's, great imagery. You just get flashbacks. It's like a whole thing. It's like an imagery thing. He walks out from the corner of the crowd that the Shield, and Roman formerly, but I'm glad they stopped that the Shield would walk out of. And he walks down those stairs and tells the stories of how he would use them to further his career and further the success that he would have. He was the brains. He was always 2 moves ahead. He would have Ambrose take the beatings while Roman dished them out, and that was what he did. When he walked down the stairs with them, he would just dream of pushing them and watch them in pain and watching them in pain. Like, this was awesome. And then he's like, well, when I got injured, and then he used the famous line that I just absolutely will never, ever, ever get sick of hearing from Seth. I got injured from carrying this. I got injured from the weight. I got injured from carrying the weight of this company on my back. That will always be a golden line to me. And so Roman Reigns became the guy piggybacking off of my injury in picking up the pieces. Dean Ambrose, his fairy tale title and title reign will end tonight after I basically, his fairy tale title reign will end tonight after I beat him for the championship. He's only champion because he had the guts to attack me from behind. Well, he had no kind of guts to attack me from behind, and yeah, there's that. So, with that being said, we'll move on to the Dean Ambrose promo, where he had like the camcorder, and he did an old Shield promo, where he basically said, so he's been the guy and he's going to continue to stay the guy, something around those lines. I don't exactly remember Dean's promo word for word, because honestly I thought Seth was like better here just from the imagery of what it was. I did enjoy the whole Shield thing that Dean did. Both were really good promos, don't get me wrong, but in honest opinion, I'm a Dean Ambrose guy, but Seth had it here. Dean had the promo last week, Seth had the promo this week. Okay, so up next we get Rusev and Sheamus versus Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, the true jobber, and Zack Ryder versus, and it's weird at this point in time, because Zack Ryder is the one in the story and getting the push. I'm calling Dolph Ziggler the true jobber. Like, this is where we stand, people. Okay, so this is basically the Rusev show, because Lana's basically telling every man in the crowd that the only man that can have her is Rusev, and honestly, I'm not going to contest that, because Rusev is the boy, Rusev is the man, and this is where we stand with Rusev. Okay, so we're going to move on here, and we're going to get to the match. Nothing much really to talk about here. My only contested complaint that I have with this is, why are Rusev and Lana, not Rusev and Lana, why are Rusev and Sheamus continuing to team, or any members of the League of Nations teaming every other week if the League of Nations broke up and they're not a thing anymore? Like whenever they team, they act like they don't have any issues and they can still work as a unit, but yet the League of Nations had enough issues to the point where they were ready to kill each other and they just broke off and broke up. Like, that's like they just decided to go their separate ways in an angry, argumentative way, and no one's upset with anyone about anything. Like, we got the whole incident with Sheamus and Del Rio a couple weeks ago, but that's apparently water under the bridge, and nothing was done to get any kind of retribution from that. And Del Rio just got away with sticking Sheamus and leaving him high and dry. So I just wanted to bring that up. But Rusev does go on to get Ziggler to tap out in very short time span with the accolade. It wasn't the out of control, oh my god, like choke out accolade. It was just the regular accolade. I was hoping he would stretch Ziggler out, but that was not going to happen. I don't know why it wasn't going to happen. It did. It should have happened. It should have happened, but it just didn't. I wish it would have. But Rusev goes on to get the win for the team, and that's pretty much about it. And Sheamus just walks off. So after this, we get a Randy Orton hype video. Nothing really exciting here for me. Brandon Foley backstage. I didn't really get to hear this segment of what they were talking about, but I'm pretty sure it just led to them being out here for the next segment, which was actually the main event of the evening, which is Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose for the WWE Championship. And this was another case of what the Zayn, Cesaro, Owens, Jericho match was. Every time it kicked into high gear, we went to commercial break, and it just annoyed me that we did that. Because, like, for anybody who watches Lucha Underground, which I'll be doing the entire Ultima Lucha Dos review too this week, but for anybody who watches Lucha Underground, you will honestly understand that Lucha Underground especially they do these big special episodes like Aztec Warfare, where Aztec Warfare is the entire show. They'll take their commercials for an hour show at the most opportune time. Like, you could say it's a 3-hour show, the commercial can work so much. They're like, dude, you could time that out perfectly. Like NXT, same thing. Like within an hour, you can do it within the proper timing of the hour. Like you can set it up for this to happen here, that to happen there, that to happen there, and then commercial break. Like what do you call it? Both men will like knock each other off the top turnbuckle. Like say they're like both on the top turnbuckle and they knock each other off, and they're both knocked out. Commercial break. Not when one man hits a frog splash, 1-2 kick out. Can this person stick in the match? We'll see when we get back. Like, especially when they're just revving it up. Like, come on, dude. Like, you can't do that. But honestly, when we're done with the commercials, we come back, Seth and Nina just tear each other apart, and it's awesome. These guys are just sitting there doing their best to have a great match. Seth and Dean are they've basically, whenever together, been the best part of any show they've been on together, because they really take pride in their work, and I fucking love it. Like, Rollins and Ambrose, to me, are just the two best that this company has to offer at this moment, and no one else can touch them. No one holds a candle to them right now. I mean, I guess the closest you can really say is like guys like AJ Styles and, Cena, but even this role that Cena's taken, he stepped back, and people aren't really booing him anymore, and I'm glad people have accepted John Cena within the role that he's in. No one's really booing. There's still going to be the whole John Cena sucks thing, but that is going to be like the whole Kurt Angle you suck thing. It's never really going away. But we get the whole thing at the end where we get a superplex. Both shoulders are pinned to the mat of Rollins and Ambrose, and that's it. Like, it should be a draw, right? But no, Stephanie McMahon at some point, after all the arguing is done, concludes that Seth Rollins is the WWE champion, and then we just fade to black. Controversy. And that's about that. And then Shane says, no, Dean Ambrose is champion. And then we get the conclusive decision from the ref who wants to see the replay. We get the replay, and then the ref concludes that both shoulders were down of each man. It is a draw, and Dean is still champion. Seth comes back in the ring, beats up Dean, and then does it again. But then Dean, tries to do it again. Then Dean ducks the title shot that Seth tries to throw at him. And then his 30 takes the title back, and we go off properly, and Dean Ambrose is still champion. Now, where this goes tomorrow night on tomorrow night's draft edition of SmackDown, I don't know. But what I do know is we're in a really interesting situation, in a really interesting spot. So, that's that, and that's my Raw review. But you know what? I also do want to explain that there are draft rules that were implemented. Raw have a pick, and SmackDown have a pick, and Raw have 3 picks, SmackDown have 2. And it's like our situation, but except Raw has to be the dominant brand because, why the fuck not? So, there we go. So, oh yeah, and they'll also have like a Draft Central thing that they'll be doing, and, they're going to be using the WWE app like it's ESPN or something. Not the app, the network like it's ESPN or something. It's going to be like Trade Central or Draft. I don't know. But they're trying to be ESPN, and they're trying to be progressive with things, and it just doesn't sound like it's going to come off right. So, you know what? That's about it for my review. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Remember to leave a like on this video if you already haven't. Or if you already haven't, subscribe if you're not subscribed for more of that WWE goodness. More of that Raw reviewing goodness. More of that reviewing goodness on my channel. And I'll see you tomorrow night for SmackDown, because we're doing SmackDown this week. We're doing Lucha Underground. Maybe the Cruiserweight Classic. We'll see what happens. We'll see how I'm feeling. We'll see after every crazy little thing that happens goes down on Lucha Underground. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching, and see ya.